Welcome to the last preview of the channel. This is going to be on the Gold Coast meeting, sensational meeting up there. Their carnival's really starting to heat up now, as well as the Morphettville Carnival. Great day of racing tomorrow, it really is. I mean, you look at the 4 tracks, and you've got 2 real feature meetings with some nice horses going around. So just to get started, open up onto the Gold Coast meeting. In the first race, look, I did struggle to find a winner there, so I'm going to go past the first race. Look, I think number 3, Candyman, the Candyman's a real top talent and will be very hard to beat. But at the same time, $2.30 is a little bit hard to jump into. But if I was to put one on top, I think that would be it, the Candyman. As I said, though, I just couldn't take it at $2.30. So just moving on to race number 2 is the Heineken Gold Coast Cup. So we don't have to wait very long for for one of the feature races of the card. 2,400 metres, looks a real nice race. And for me, I've got the favourite, number 1, the Lord Mayor on top. Was quite good, winning at 2,000 metres open race at Toowoomba. James McDonald jumps in the saddle. I think it's a top chance. In for second, I do have number 2, Quebec, who's was pretty disappointing on pace actually last time out at Doomben. Just sort of dropped out of the race after running on speed, but I think can return to form and run quite nicely this time around. In for third, I've got number 3, Vaucluse Bay. Just has to overcome the wide barrier. If it can do so, I think it'll be well in the finish. Ran nicely in that same race but of Quebec and finished off quite nicely. If it can handle the wide draw, as I said, I really do give it a good chance. In for fourth, I do like number 9, Fighting Teo, who was beaten by Sir Barnes last start on pace, but stepping out to a bit of a better trip this time. I think it will enjoy running a bit further. Last time it ran over 2,400 metres, it did win its race. So it's paying pretty nice odds, so I'm pretty happy to have it in. So just to recap the numbers for the second, the Gold Coast Cup. Number 1, the Lord Mayor on top, the favourite. In for second, number 2, Quebec. In for third, number 3, Vaucluse Bay. So Chris Waller, top 3. And in for fourth, number 9, Fighting Teo. Race number 3 on the card is the Tab Ken Russell Memorial Classic, 1,200 metres, two-year-old Group 3 race. Some real nice 2-year-olds going around this race, and for me, I take Dubious for the Kieran Maher Eustace team. Coming out of the Golden Slipper, of course, it was a little bit disappointing. That race was sort of on speed, just tailed out a little bit. Before that, though, its form was quite nice, and I can see it returning to form here. Has won well at this track before. Obviously, that was on Magic Millions Day, where it came second by Exhilarates. I mean, that's great form for this, so I can see it returning to form. In for second, I do have the favourite, number 1, Accession. Nothing against us, coming off a nice trial leading in. It was just beaten 3.8 lengths by Microphone and Castle Vecchio, who obviously have been well featured in the 2-year-old season so far. Have been very good horses. Microphone, of course, finishing second in the Slipper. In for third, I do have number 10, Epelmata, who for Tony Gollan is second up. Was on speed, just pipped last start by Longbottom. I think it can run better second up here. I can see it being in the finish. So that was number 10, Epelmata. In for fourth, I do like number 3, Stronger. It's just got to overcome the wide barrier. Blake Shin on board. It was finished off okay by Bivouac last start. And then prior to that was miles behind Cosmic Force, but Cosmic Force blitzed him that day. So it's been in and around this race, so I can see it finishing better in this race. So just to recap the numbers, number 2, Dubious on top. In for second, number 1, Accession. In for third, number 10, Epelmata, and in for fourth, number 3, Stronger. Race number 4, 800 metre race, 3-year-old fillies race. Looks to be, it's got quite a bit of depth for this, and I actually like a horse called Pin Up Miss, number 15. It's just got to overcome the wide barrier, but won well last start, and it was only a maiden, so it is stepping up in class, but before that was beaten by Word for Word. I think it can turn the tables on Word for Word here. If you have a look at the speed map, there's not a whole lot. So Pin Up Miss might even find itself towards the front. So I can see it running a good race. And actually, turning the tables on number 8 Word for Word, who has the barrier 17 to deal with. McAvoy in the saddle. If it didn't have the wide barrier, I would have had Word for Word on top. But so I've got it in for second. In for third, I do have number 10 Re-Edit, who's got barrier 11. So got a few wild ones here. Re-Edit was good, resuming in a benchmark 64 at Hawkesbury. I think it's got a bit of talent. It had a nice tick over trial at Canterbury over the 1,100 metres. So I can see it being in the finish. And in for fourth, I do like number 2 Baccarat Baby for David Van Dyke. Obviously, there's the Queenslander, was really good, beating Word for Word, just beat it on the line. I think Word for Word can probably turn the tables, but Baccarat Baby has the nice barrier. But there's not a whole lot of speed in this race, so it's going to have to do some work to catch up to these. So just to recap the numbers for the fourth on the card. Number 15 Pin Up Miss on top. In for second, I do like number 8 Word for Word. In for third, number 10 Re-Edit. And in for fourth, number 2 Baccarat Baby. Race number 5, 900 metre dash over. It's an open race, and for this one, I like number 6 YPO. I think it can beat the favourite with Jeff Lloyd in the saddle. Really good first up stats. Last time out, it contested a Group 3 behind Ball of Muscle. Then raced an open race behind Spinny Win before being spelled after that. Was really well backed in those 2 races. Comes back here, last time I ran here at the Gold Coast was second in a Group 3 behind Shane Panculls by a length. I mean, that's superior form to these. Great first up stats. His trials leading in have been perfect, so I've got to have it on top for me to beat number 3 Spurcraft, who has the advantage of the inside barrier. Great first up stats. I just think that YPO just has a slight class edge on it, hence, and I think that $3.70 is a lot more appealing to me, but no knock on the favourite, just couldn't take it at $2.30. In for third, I do have number 15 Boom Chicka Boom. Won really nicely on pace here at the Gold Coast. What was that? 3 weeks ago, being started right by 5.5 lengths. Before that was beaten by Power Command for Chris Lee's galloper. It's got a bit of tone, enjoys running this track, so I can see it being in the finish. And in for fourth, I do like number 12 Plateau Gold at big odds. Look, it's sort of coming off a nice trial, and then before that was finished 1.8 lengths off Desert Lashes at Moonee Valley, who's quite a pacey type. It's run here 3 times and won twice, so I think $41, huge odds. And for a horse that only missed the placings once for this preparation, where that was at Warrnambool on a soft track by Twitchy Frank. After that, it ran superbly at the Valley. I think it's a huge chance. Barrier 14 is a little bit of a query, but if it can overcome that, I think it'll be well in the finish. So I've got it in for fourth. So just recap the numbers. Number 6 YPO with the slight class edge on top. In for second, the favourite, number 3 Spurcraft. In for third, number 15 Boom Chicka Boom. And in for fourth, number 12 Plateau Gold. Race number 6, 1400 metre listed Australian Turf Club Trophy. In this race, I quite like number 10 Tribal Wisdom. I think it's paying some nice odds. Stepping out of a race behind Top Striker, where it was pretty well supported. Before that ran a Group 1 behind Nature Strip, so I think it can win this race. Look, the white barrier is a little bit of a concern, but it looks to be a lot of speed inside of it, and I think it can run on nicely from the back this time around. So I've got it on top to beat number... to beat number 12 Freddie Foxtrot, the favourite. Look, no knock on it. It's been racing really nicely. It was well beaten by Chapman Verse last start. Has the quick back up here. Enjoys running at the Gold Coast. 5 starts of the track, 3 wins in a second. So I can see it being in the place. Just worried about all that speed in the race. Might go helter-skelter and suit the back runners. In for third, I've got number 3, Sovereign Nation, who's second up here. Was a little bit disappointed behind Sexy Eyes at Toowoomba, but I thought it was an okay run, to be honest, and it will get the speed this race. This horse ran some real good races. You're looking at 2.5 lengths off Jungle Cat in a Group 1 down at Caulfield. Then you're looking at looking at runs behind Cliff's Edge and Chaotic and Eckstein. So there's some real good racing behind it there. So I think if it can return that form, get the speed on Jason Collett in the saddle, I think it'll finish off nicely. And in for fourth, I do have number 5, Snippets Landing, with Blake Shin in the saddle. I was a little bit disappointed by Marlunga last start, but I think that's quite a good form race. It comes back to the Gold Coast. Look, before that, it was running okay. I mean, I was only beaten 0.8 by Dreamforce in a Group 3. Then won a Canberra and a listed race there. And then finished behind Antalya and Marlunga. So it's been running in some nice race, Snippets Land, for the Snowdens. I think it can run a nice race here. So just to recap the numbers on the 6th of the card. I've got number 10, Trial Wisdom, on top for Michael Moretti, Kieran McAvoy in the saddle. In for second, number 12, the favourite, Freddie Foxtrot. In for third, number 3, Sovereign Nation. And in for fourth, number 5, Snippets Land. Race number 7 is the Gold Coast Guineas 3-year-old Group 3 race. You've got the really promising Zoo Style resuming and is hence going at it at some pretty short odds. Has the wide barrier to deal with, and I think I have to do a lot of work. So for me, it's going to sound crazy, but I just couldn't put it on top because I can't say to dive into those odds, especially with the wide barrier, with all the speed inside of it. For me, I'm sort of looking to lean towards number 1, Boom Sarah, for Chris Muntz, who is resuming here. Ran excellent, ran really well, beating Bondi on Magic Millions Day. Before that was superb at Doomben in a Group 3, beating Panino by 4.5 lengths. It doesn't mind racing first up. It actually finished behind Zoo Style, last time out first up. But I think that it just might get the right run of the race. It's superb track stats. It's four starts for 3 wins and a second. And for me, it just might get the better run, in my opinion. It's just going to sit back, might have a bit of cover to come off the speed and really finish over the top. So I've got it on top ahead of number 4, Zoo Style, who got no knock on, is a real big talented horse, has not lost yet. I think this could be where it loses. I just see it's got to do so much work. But no knock on it, but $1.45, no thank you. In for third, I do have number 3, El True, for Tony Gollan, resuming. Good first up stats last time out. Was just beaten as an odds-on favourite at Doomben in a 3-year-old race. But, this is, this gets a good chance here. Off barrier 1, there's going to be a lot of speed in the race. Should be able to come on from the back. So I've got it in for a good chance. And in for fourth, I do like number 7, Poets Landing, for Lloyd Kennewell, who's up from Adelaide. I thought it was actually not too bad first. I think Mr. Taylor sort of got away and really put them to the sword at Doomben. Sort of came out from the back of the ruck and went through quite nicely. So I think second up, it might actually be a decent chance. And I think Lloyd Campbell brought this horse up for a reason. So I've got it in the numbers. So just to recap, race number 7, number 1, Boom Sarah on top for me. So I think this might get the better run of the race. And I'd much rather take $4.60 than $1.45 about Zeus Style, who's in for second. In for third, number 3, El Truth. And in for fourth, I like number 7, Poets Landing. Race number 8, 800 metre weight for age Group 2 is the Hollandale Stakes. Cracking field here. We've got a lot of depth to it, and actually it was a little bit hard to sort of pull something out of this. For me, I ended up falling with number 8, Shillelagh. Look, there's not a ton of speed in the race, but I think there's enough, and this horse being the superior form, it's the class horse of the race. I've got to have it on top for me. So I've got it on top, number 8, Shillelagh, in to beat number 10, the Young Star. I'm waiting for it to hit 2,000 or above. I thought it was a little bit disappointing first up behind Parada, but there's all-age stakes, the Shrep's all-age stakes. I mean, it was a really pacey field. Comes up to the 800, which is going to suit it so much more. Second up stats are quite good. I can see it improving. Barrier 16, a bit of a concern, but I think it'll run well. In for third, I do like number 1, Mr. Seawolf, for J-Mac in the saddle. Was excellent first up, beating Abden in the Doncaster Prelude. Think he can run a nice race here again. And in for fourth, I do have number 12, Lover, stepping up to the 1,800 metres. I think will suit. Last start, went over to Aotearoa in Sydney ran really nice, ran a third place by Nicoletta there in their Group 1. Before that at Randwick was 1.5 lengths off Natoya in the Group 3. So I think it's in some good form and paying some nice odds at $12. So I wouldn't be surprised if it runs a nice race. So just to recap the numbers on the 8th of the card. I do like number 8, Chalet on top. Just think it's got the class, this field. In for second, number 10, Youngstar, who I'm very keen to back third. I'm really keen to have a look at it tomorrow, stepping up to 1800. Barrier 16 is a little bit of concern. In for third, number 1, Mr. Seawolf, and in for fourth, number 12, Lover Lover. Final race of the card, 1200 metres for the fillies and mares. Look, quite a nice race, this one. For me, I was actually quite keen on number 8, Epidemic, who was scratched for this race, and it's paying $26. It's been saved for this race. I think it was going to run. Was it last weekend, I believe? So I've got a bit of a query there. I think that there might be something up with that. Doesn't mind the soft track, and it's going to be a lot of speed in the race. I actually think it'll be a huge knockout chance at $26. In for second, I do like number 9, Platinum Angel, who will also be coming on from the back. Former Darren Weir galloper, of course, now with AJ Edmonds. First up stats are okay. It's been in the placings 3 times from 4. Was 0.8 length off Winter Bride in a Group 3 at Caulfield first up last prep. So I can see it running a nice race. White Barrier is a bit of a concern, but as I said, there looks to be a bit of speed in the race. Should be able to come in nicely. Its last trial was really impressive for me, so I think it's in some good form and it's ready to go. In for third, I do like number 7, Outback Barbie. Gets that inside barrier to, just sort of get in a nice spot, tuck in behind. Was in some great races last preparations. It's a quality horse. Has great first up stats, so no knock on it. Just $3.10 for me. I had a bit of value outside of it. And in for fourth, I do like number 1, Callisto. He's going to have to do a lot of work, but again, I like the form. Was only just beaten by 1.8 lengths by White Moss. I think there's a few good horses to come out of that race. And I think third up is going to suit it really nicely. So I can see it running a good race if it can get across and find a good position. Number 1, Callisto. So just to recap the numbers, number 8, Epidemic at a massive odds for Larry Cassidy. Larry Cassidy. In for second, I'd have number 9, Platinum Angel. In for third, number 7, Outback Barbie. In for fourth, number 1, Callista. So good luck tomorrow if you're having a play at Gold Coast and all the other tracks, of course. Have a look at all my videos. I would greatly appreciate it. If you're only punting at a couple of meetings, just have a look at them. Just watch those videos. I hope I can steer you on the way. Keep up the support. Really appreciate it. And happy punting tomorrow. Good luck. Hopefully get a few winners.